Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Michael Angel Dilella Jr. joining us here today. He's the founder, advisor, and CEO of the Financial Counseling Center. So excited to have him here joining us live today. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Well,
Appreciate you.
thank you so much. Excited to talk to you. Now, you're based out of Los Angeles, California, correct?
Correct.
But you're
Yes.
helping those all over.
We are helping our community, mainly LA County, with 88 cities, and sometimes we go and extend ourselves to Riverside, San Bernardino, Santa Ana, and like that. But mainly is within the backyard of our community that we are usually very available for 6 days a week for people.
Beautiful. I was reading, of course, the website. I urge people to go on it as well. Financialcounselingcenter.com. That's financialcounselingcenter.com. We're going to talk today about, some of the services you provide from the debt counseling, bankruptcy, debt settlement, and so much more. So, before we get started on that, I want to know a little bit of your background. And I know I also read this is a family business. Could you give us a little bit of your history?
Absolutely. I came to this great country of ours when I was 12 years old from Argentina. My dad uh, went to visit me at one point and came down with them, started working in a factory with them in downtown with an industrial sewing operation, making and bedding products for hotels in the United States. And I worked with them until I was about 22, 23 years old, managing over 150 people for production. As of the
Um,
time I was 19, 20, I was already helping with all of that. And moving forward, I started a litigation support service in the 80s for local attorneys. At that time, obviously computers, keyboards were not so readily available for
mhm.
most applications for the court system. So we had typewriters, and we were actually page by page filing
Wow.
petitions in the bankruptcy federal court. And I was the one who organized a team of people doing that for local attorneys. And then around 1992, 93, I started the Financial Counseling Center as a consulting firm. Moving a little bit over to 2007, I got married to my lovely wife, Tamara. She is the administrator and the partner of my
Oh,
business now for 17 years. We work 6 days a week, close together in our office, managing, administering two staff attorneys I have on my payroll, which come into play when we file bankruptcies in the federal petition. We have attorney representation, and we manage and administer all the work, basically.
beautiful. Well, amazing work you're doing. And I can't believe all that you do. And I love the slogan, it's together, let's change your life. And you say, we want to focus a little bit more on, all the time that you educate the public, right? To make sure they understand what they're doing. Could you share a little bit about some of this and the experiences of, the finance business and what they need to know?
Absolutely. I spend over 50% of my time dedicated to education and sharing information with people that may never call me back or make me money. I have the luxury to do that either on a human level. We like doing that. We love to contribute. On a business level, when somebody needs to do debt negotiation, buy time, deal with a lawsuit, collections, student loans, repossessions, judgments, foreclosures. There are many times that they cannot file a bankruptcy. And that's when you have to get extremely
Yeah.
creative with your budget, income, life circumstances. And we become a good support system to give peace of mind. And it's bordering like mental health issues that people are having from the stresses of owing money, not knowing what to do. And I find a good niche in being that support system to make sure they understand that they're okay, and they can make decisions that will benefit them and their family.
Yeah, well, I commend you on all that service and all that work that you're doing to help educate so many. And if you don't mind me just backing up a sec,
Yeah.
you mentioned that I would like to hear a little bit further back about you entered this country as an immigrant.
Yes. My
Oh,
dad came to visit me for a couple of weeks. I was raised by my mom for 12 years, and he had left to the United States to start a business, I guess, and never came back. And finally, he decided to come visit me at one point, and I decided to come down with him. It was the first time I met my dad, so it wasn't the easiest
Oh,
decision to leave your mom after 12 years, but I thought
yeah.
it was to my best interest to make that move. And I was thrown into, as a teenager, into a workplace, basically. I mean, you're talking in the 70s. I was already driving a forklift in the shipping department when I was 14 years old. I'm sure that, OSHA would not be very happy with that in today's world, but definitely it was part of the education and the self-taught education that I received from my dad as a mentor every single day, 8, 10, 12 hours a day for many years. And that's how I basically created my business acumen and the discipline to show up to work every day and start to and finish my job. So
Oh,
it was a real good moment in my life too. But as a teenager, unfortunately, as all teenagers, we're very confused. We know nothing. We're very naive, and I couldn't understand why my friends were having fun in the summers after school, and I had to work in a factory all day long. But now at 62 years old, looking back, it is why I've had my own business paying the rent for 37 years, basically. And with that, even through COVID, even though we took a huge hit, we never missed a beat and continued to push through, even though 70% of the people I know in my business went out of business. So
yeah.
we've had a hard time through COVID. It's getting better. The economy is really creating a big, an incredible void of misinformation and stress with people financially, as we know already. And I think little by little, I realized that people need us. They need me. They need to talk to somebody who really will not sell them anything. And after I established my business and working for my dad all that time, I basically have been self-employed since I was 26, 27 years old. And here we are, trying to keep a small business, family business alive. And we're doing the best job that we can. Every
Beautiful. Well,
yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And let's talk more about, you mentioned the wisdom and expertise, right? That you've have over how many clients? Over 16,000
We
clients? Oh
we now have, as of last December, and we
my
made a video in our social media about it. We have over 15,000 clients. It's probably close to 16,000 now. Um, and we have filed in the Central District of Bankruptcy of the Bankruptcy Federal Court System over 4,300 federal cases with the federal judges and U.S. trustees in the Ninth District Court here in the Western states. And we, through that experience, knowledge, analysis, problem solving, answering all the questions, not knowing an answer, finding the answer. It is an everyday learning process that we have. It's a learning curve, constant learning curve to educate ourselves for the next case, for the next client. And we are very good listeners. We are very humble. If I don't know something,
yeah.
everybody knows, and we find out. But definitely, yeah, that experience is what I share with people. And furthermore, when people question sometimes
Mm-hmm.
maybe a reputation or what have you, we remind them that maybe because you just met us 20, 30 minutes ago, I understand you can't trust us 100% yet. You're building that trust.
Yeah.
If I could somehow speak for the thousands of clients that we've helped and that have obviously left a good footprint on Zelle with over 400 reviews and everything else. I speak for those people. I speak for my clients. It's not my opinion anymore. It's not what I know. It's the experiences that we've had and how they turned out that makes a difference.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. Now, also, can we break it down and talk about all the services that the Financial Counseling Center can help you with? And just remind everyone, I'm going to tell them the website, financialcounselingcenter.com. What is the social media pages where we can find you?
It would be related to an Instagram. You will find Financial Counseling Center LA.
Great.
On TikTok, it's the same thing. Facebook, Financial Counseling Center. YouTube, Financial Counseling Center. And they would find me because I'm the only one, really. And they would find, I guess, more information about our videos and different things that we're trying to do. It's difficult to educate people in this industry at some level because we cannot really give legal advice through videos, because then it becomes a legal issue of not even knowing who you're talking to and what you're saying. And then somebody will obviously push back and say, well, you told me this, you told me that, and something happened and I didn't like it. So we have to be very careful how we put out information until I have a full disclosure or discovery of someone's personal situation,
Got it. All right. Well, tell us about some of the, exact areas you're helping people with.
Sure. Okay. So someone comes in and says to me, I make good money. I owe a lot of credit cards and personal loans. I make my payments on time. However, I'm projecting that this will never get paid off in a reasonable amount of time. I'm having a baby on the way. I don't know what to do. I don't want to destroy my credit. All these things come up. And the service that we may suggest at one point, if someone can't catch up with the next few years, if they qualify through a means test, which is a certification process that we have through the Department of Justice Financial Division, to somewhat pre-approve a case for filing, we will go through that process. We will sit down with them for an hour and a half for free. For free. We don't charge any money for that. I know some attorneys charge up to $750 to do that. And we cater to the client in a way to build that trust, to find out, okay, this is where you're at. You don't make enough money, so you're ready to file. You pay a certain fee. We can file your case. 4 months later, you get a discharge, rebuild your credit within 2 years. Or if you cannot file a Chapter 7, if you're losing a house, for example, because you're a year behind on your house, there's a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which, by the way, Abraham Lincoln filed in 1833. And they will reorganize their arrearages of their property within 5 years without interest to save their home. And that's another level of a bankruptcy. Outside of bankruptcy, when someone makes too much money or they have too many non-exempted assets whereby they cannot file a bankruptcy, we have what is called a pushback file service, which means that we take over your credit file, send a power of attorney letter as a legal agent in California that we're going to be handling your financial situation, including all your bills. And we begin to project where you're going to be once you stop making payments.
Okay.
In the legal process of collections, to the point that within 4 to 6 months, I can legally stop the interest on your accounts. So if somebody's paying $3,000 a month in interest on $100,000, eliminating that interest factor becomes extremely important for a lot of people. It's a lot of money. $36,000 you're throwing away every year.
Yeah, that is.
So we're projecting these things. At that time, we can also negotiate a lump sum settlement. Approximately 60 to 70% is the average in a legitimate statement, not like those debt consolidation companies that promise you things that don't exist.
Yeah.
And it all falls apart. But if you can borrow money at that time, you can have a friend of yours lend you some money, pull it from your 401k plan, what have you. Then I can save you $30,000, $40,000 of that $100,000, and you'll settle for 60. You'll have closure with your debts at that point. And the biggest question at that point will be asked, how long is it going to take to rebuild my credit? And that's no more than 6 months to 2 years after that. So that means that it's a tremendous benefit. So we do the same thing that debt consolidation companies do, except that we're local. We're available 6 days a week. People can see me, they can find me, they can visit me anytime. And we probably have a presence in social media and Yelp that is the algorithms of Yelp are one of the highest in our industry, whereby a lot of the people that come to me complaining about some of the services that they have gotten with, they don't even have a Yelp account. because nobody knows what they're doing. So you have to be extremely careful about that. Another service is when you are getting sued, when you get a knock at the door, and the sheriff's department or a server will give you a summons, which is a superior court money
Mm-hmm.
money judgment, and they will basically serve you, give you 30 days to answer, and that's where people start to, kind of freak out a little bit, and
Yeah.
call me and say, "What should I do? What can I do?" They're giving me 30 days to answer. Now, in most cases, I would say 9 out of 10,
Yep.
it may not be a good idea to answer because all you're doing is you're starting litigation, what is called you file a general denial. And
Okay.
that creates more legal expenses. It
Uh-huh.
creates more legal expenses on your end, on their end, and you're probably going to lose to a judgment within 7 months to 10 months either way. So even if you find an attorney in Beverly Hills and you're paying them $700 an hour to help you, what he's not telling you is that you're still going to lose before a year's time. So why are you doing that for? There's no purpose. So we tell them not to do that, but let's engage in a negotiation, a stipulation for conditional judgment, which means that we talk to the attorneys, we kind of play poker with them a little bit about filing bankruptcy. Yes, no, I don't know. We don't know what we're going to do. And we eventually negotiate a payment plan up to 48 to 60 months without interest, or a settlement with them so they can dismiss the lawsuit from the court system.
Wow. Wow, this is amazing. All this information. You're helping so many people. And I just want to remind them, go to the website if you are in the LA area. Again, don't forget, this is Michael Angel, Dilella Jr. on with us. He's the CEO, founder, advisor from Financial Counseling Center, and really helping so many with debt, with bankruptcy, with this. This is amazing. I can see how much you're helping people, let alone the reviews. You mentioned Yelp, right? Even on your website, there's been so many people commending you and your team. Can I just let me just pull up one? Hold on. Jamie B. Words cannot express my feelings nor my thanks for their help. Could remember quite vividly when my school grade was very bad. Thought I'd be bounced from school, but all thanks to Bella Hacker for helping me upgrade my school grades. Most of my scores are truly bad. This is not that one. Okay, very professional, thorough, knowledgeable, competent work, digitally best results. I would highly recommend them to anyone. That one's for you. Um, Exceptional support for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. This person's talking about how you addressed all their needs, their concerns, clear guidance, top-notch assistance, fair price, commitment to helping clients. So again, there's just so many great reviews here I'm on Google reviews actually. Strongly recommend Michael. He was great with my case. This is from Jamie V. Super knowledgeable and a straight shooter. I'm sad I didn't talk to him before wasting so much time with other law offices. Hope these brief lines help make the best decision. Thanks, Mike. Wow.
Yeah, actually, if I may add to that real quick, Mr. Stoppelman, who is the CEO, co-founder of Yelp, wrote me a letter last November saying that their algorithms show that we have one of the highest algorithms and 6 million accounts
Wow.
within our service in our industry specifically. Obviously, if you're looking at a restaurant, they may have thousands of reviews, but in our industry, attorneys are not very well known for having that much of a history on reviews. I don't really know what that is. I'm not going to knock anybody down, but the bottom line is that when we received that letter, we actually made a video about it in social media to show the
Yeah.
letter and to show the fact that as a family business, we're extremely proud to hear something like that. I mean, 6 million accounts, it's a lot of businesses, and and I guess we're trying to do a good job, and we do a good job, and that's the result, you know.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And it's amazing to have such great reviews. And clearly, you all know what you're doing. Now, how many people are part of the business, by the way? I know you mentioned your wife's there. Many staff members do you have?
Sure. So we have right now, especially after COVID, things changed dramatically. We had 3 employees before COVID. We had to get rid of everyone because we didn't have,
Mm-hmm.
literally, we lost 90% of our business for 2.5 years
Wow.
because of COVID. Nobody would come in
Yeah.
over. I had people 10, 15 feet away from me with a mask. very difficult to communicate. Couldn't even see people laughing, crying, no facial expressions. I'm trying to do an hour consultation, and at a human level, extremely difficult to do because you can't really communicate as much. And that comes to the point of poor children, dealing with the same thing growing up through COVID. So the question is, at that time, we got rid of the employees because we had to, and now we're downsizing. We have downsized to my wife and I working 6 days a week. We have a full-time assistant working remotely, and her name is Sophia. And we have two staff attorneys, one of which has been on my payroll for 32 years. The other day, I found a picture on my phone from a party that we went to when we were 30 years old, 32 years ago, and we were hugging, like we were together, smiling, which was very interesting and very nostalgic to see. And we basically are doing the work of four people, to be honest with you, because the economy right now is so bad and the recession is so deep that people have no money to come forward, even start cases. For the last year and a half, it's been almost close to when COVID hit. It's really, really, really bad. It's getting a lot better. We have a tremendous amount of support for the calls that come in. Yesterday, I think I had 80 phone calls that I dealt with in one day alone. But
Wow.
we are multitaskers. I do in 8 hours. I do the job of someone doing it for 30 hours. So the question is, that is our staff at this point, that we are using to move forward every day with our business. But things are getting busier. They're getting a lot better. We're starting to get a lot more appointments scheduled in the last, I would say, 45 days to 2 months. Mainly, I think the election has kind of it's a lot of energy is being spent in this whole political thing for the last couple of years. And I hope that after the election is over, people are going to come down a little bit and begin to take care of themselves a little bit more. But having said that, I have to share with you that I spoke to a New York collection attorneys about 2 weeks ago. He's been in collections for 40 years.
Wow.
And he reminded me, and I thought it was the opposite to be true, but he reminded me through his experience in collections that when the economy is really bad, my business is really bad too. When the economy is good, people are getting ahead and they have money to fix their problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I never even thought about it that way. And to be honest with you, I felt really surprised and more, my own ignorance of thinking the opposite to be true, where when the economy is really bad, more people are unemployed and this and that. Yeah, but then what he said made a lot of sense, because to pay an attorney a couple $1,000s to do a bankruptcy, if you don't have the money, why are you going to make an appointment?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes no sense. And that's an interesting part of what's going on right now.
Wow. Wow. This is exciting. We only have 2 minutes left in your show. My goodness, it goes so fast. And there's still so much more we didn't get to talk about. So for the last few minutes, what do you want to make sure we let the audience know about you, the company, and why they should reach out?
I seem to be the only one in our 10.5 to 11 million people in LA County, at least, that has the time to be available for people 6 days a week and to listen to them and to answer questions without any obligation, any pressure, any feeling that somehow we're selling them something. And take that opportunity. Take the opportunity to have a quick education, like a mini seminar of sorts, in your personal roadmap of options that we can create for you. And we're okay if you don't call us back. We're okay if you don't do business with me. But we're not okay when people find the wrong services, or they get ripped off, or they waste money and time with their life and their family within their credit structure, including credit repair agencies, which are now going out of business. The whole industry with debt consolidation will be going out of business in the next 2 to 4 years at some level, because their methods of helping people are very distant, and there's nothing is personal, everything is generic.
Yeah.
So I want people to know that when we take your case, I personally handle you. I personally handle all the accounts. I personally handle all the negotiations, collections, because you can only leave that to the experience and wisdom of our business. You cannot delegate really what we do every day. And that is why we're not interested in expanding necessarily, because I cannot create another person like myself with the experience. So we're very, very happy to have the reasonable business that we do and to be available for people. We get back to people within 20 minutes on Yelp, 100%
Right.
in response. So, with that is what people should know. We are here, we're available, and please call us if you need us.
Beautiful. Thank you again. One more time, tell us the phone number and website.
You can call me at 323-919-2874. Our website is www.financialcounselingcenter.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Pleasure getting to meet you, and looking forward to the next time we are together, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Have a great day. And to all of our listeners and viewers, please stay tuned. We'll be right back with more.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.